Good morning. I'd like to make a little video here to tell you a little bit about my journey with playing the Native American flute and show you a few different examples of some of the flutes I have and basically some of my philosophy with the flute. This first flute I'm going to show you is actually my favorite. If I'm going to pick one, this would be my favorite flute. It's a low D drone flute. What that means is that you've got a melody side here with a pentatonic minor scale on the melody side, and then you have a drone side. So it's actually two flutes in one. So you can choose to play the flute just the melody side like this. Or you can add the drone in. Really beautiful flute. And I want to tell you a little bit more about sort of my philosophy of the flute. Is the way I like to think about it is that it's a dance between your breath, which you're controlling your voice, and your spirit comes out through your breath, and the flute is basically a channel for your spirit, for your voice to come out, and the way you shape your expression, your spirit, is through the notes that you choose, or not choose, because you can just play one note, and that can be just an expression, just kind of like people chant one note. You can play one note, but you can also dance with the notes and just allow your fingers to do a dance on the flute, and allow your breath to do a dance. And I like to think it's also a dance of your imagination. When you get to the point where you're not really thinking about what your breath is doing, you're not really thinking about your fingers are doing, and you're just letting your imagination sort of play in that field of the spirit coming out through the flute. And I think also just I find myself surprised by what I hear when I play the flute. It's like, wow, what's going on here? I'm kind of amazed, like, what are my fingers doing? What is my breath doing? And it's like, that's really interesting. Because my philosophy of the way I typically play the flute is I pick it up and I really have no idea what's going to happen. And I just let it happen. And for me, that's a way of letting the spirit, the energy come through me. And yeah, and I really enjoy, I wanted to do a video out in the trees, which I can do later on. I really enjoy dancing that energy through the forest and singing to the trees and the wind and the birds. I feel like it's a combination of, you've got the tree here, you got the wind in the environment, the wind coming through, the spirit coming through us. And then I think flutes were probably inspired by the bird song. Like, how come people, originally the oldest instrument, melodic instrument that we know of is a bone flute that people had sitting around the fire, bones from the animals that people were eating, and they picked up a bone and started blowing into the bone and getting different tones and thinking about, that's something interesting. And eventually started drilling holes into the bone, realizing you can have different control the tones with your fingers. And so I think the flute and the drum are certainly the two oldest. The drum is the oldest rhythmic instrument, and the flute is the oldest melodic instrument. So it's a really powerful, potent combination to bring those two together. And next I'll show you, this is this previous flute was a D minor flute. This one's called an F sharp minor flute, and it's also a drone. This one have to be a little more delicate with the breath. Every flute has its own characteristics of how to play it. So this one you have to be a little more gentle with the breath. notice how I was kind of going back and forth between melodic side and the drone on that particular flute. Really special flute. Maybe I'll next go to the smallest one. I think this is the smallest flute I have, at least Native American flute. This one's also a drone. This one's a D, a whole octave higher than this flute. You have the lower flute gives you the lower octave, and the higher flute gives it a higher octave. This one's also a drone, has a much higher voice. And I guess I also want to mention that the softwood flutes, this is a softwood, and it has a softer tone, and the harder wood flutes, these are both harder wood flutes, have a sharper tone. So not like one's better than the other, but just like all of us are a little bit hard, a little bit soft, and all have different range of expression of our energies. So here's the high D flute. So a very kind of sharp, high-pitched flute. And one thing that's really nice about this is that you can just stick it in your pocket on a hike, and it's like almost indestructible. It's really great one to just bring along on a hike and just kind of walk through the woods, playing to the birds, seeing what happens. So I'll go from my smallest flute to my biggest flute. This one is also an F sharp. This is an F sharp minor, and this is another F sharp minor, but this one is a bass, not a drone, a single flute. I can hardly even get it into the screen here, so I'll move it back a little bit. Now, this has got a very deep, low voice. All right, so the world of flutes, more specifically Native American flutes, but all kinds of flutes it's a big world to explore. And I just want people to know that I'm available to teach people about how to play flutes. And people are interested in checking in with me about exploring the flute. It's the price point is low for simple flutes, and it's something that will last the rest of your lifetime, and give you an opportunity to express yourself by a different voice that you would imagine never have heard in your lifetime if you've never played a flute before. So it's an opportunity to expand your voice, let your spirit flow out, and it's a journey of exploration. And on top of that, when you play the flute, other people can enjoy it too. So it's really an interesting world to explore. So anyway, I'll be posting some more flute videos, I imagine, down the road here. And feel free to reach out to me if you want to learn some more about the flute. All right, namaste.